If you ever look at Barack Obama's Twitter account, you'll find something unusual. He follows 557,000 people. And if you go back in time, you'll see why. So just a few months into his presidential campaign, and he's trailing Hillary Clinton by a fair margin in the polls, when he decides to take a risk on an emerging social platform and tweet. For the rest of his campaign, Obama used Twitter to talk about where he was going, what he was doing, and interestingly, to follow his supporters back. Throughout his campaign, his following and follower count were nearly identical, and after 500,000 people, a few months into his presidency, he finally stopped following everyone back. But even till today, it looks like he never unfollowed those first supporters. It was with this use of Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube that Obama won the presidency and changed the game of presidential campaigning, especially to reach young voters. So in the 2024 election, social media will be crucial. So how are the presidential candidates building their brands, and what do they say about who they are, or at least who they're trying to be? To figure that out, I studied the leading candidates on the two most popular social media platforms for Gen Z, Instagram and TickTock. Then I talked to two experts to see what it all means. Based on public opinion polls, there are three main candidates in contention right now: Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis for the Republican Party, and Joe Biden for the Democrats. Their strategies are all rather interesting. First, there's Instagram. Joe Biden's Instagram strategy is photos of him smiling, doing things. Of his last 20 posts at the time of study, just 2 were videos, and 14 are him standing somewhere smiling.
Joe Biden's greatest asset is that he's an extremely personal guy. The smile is one of the best things he has. So if I was running an Instagram, I'd post a lot of photos of him flashing his pearly whites.
Joe Biden is the only one running who can walk into the Oval Office whenever he wants, so he uses that.
His poll numbers are not that great. But one of the things I think a lot of people are attracted to him and think of him about is that he's presidential. That he's restored a certain amount of decorum.
And the lack of videos might be avoiding the potential for gaffes, which have hurt him in the past due to his speech impediment and stumbles. Meanwhile, Ron DeSantis has a very different strategy. With just 1 million followers compared to Biden's 17, though he kind of has 37, and Trump's 23, DeSantis is nowhere near as established. As a result, his platform is events.
But one of his criticisms is he's not personable enough.
How you doing? Good. What's your name?
I'm Tim Hampton.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's great to be up in New Hampshire.
What's your name? I'm Tim.
Okay.
And maybe that's what they're trying to show, is that actually, he is.
Of his last 20 posts, 18 were at events. In Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Florida, Michigan, it seems DeSantis is trying to prove that he has supporters and is less focused in on policy, at least for right now.
He doesn't have as charismatic of a personality as Joe Biden has, so it's less about him. It's more about, hey, this guy out here and what his message is and working hard.
Finally, Donald Trump is yet again playing a completely different game.
Trump's authentic self is attacking people. That's one of the reasons why Trump is so popular, is that people see him as a really, really authentic guy who doesn't hold back at all.
We all know they hate him for winning the fight to protect life.
There you go, old man. Get up there. Now the podium, you idiot!
Everyone just shut the hell up so I can make my announcement, okay?
Of Trump's 20, 13 were attack ads. On DeSantis, on Biden, on Christie, and unlike DeSantis and Biden, he's going all in on video. In his last 20, only 1 was a photo. He's firing up his supporters the only way he knows how, and this is getting him by far the highest engagement with an average of 275,000 likes per post, compared to Biden's 42,000 and DeSantis's 34,000.
Candidates are created. These are big operations to present those characters. And they're trying to present the candidate in what they think are the strengths of the candidate that the voters like.
Now, what about TickTock? Well, none of the main 3 are actually on TickTock at all. The only somewhat known candidates on TickTock are Marianne Williamson and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who both have interesting strategies.
Hey everybody, I'm at the border wall around Yuma, Arizona. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning.
But while the main candidates aren't there, their presence is.
Media is a lot more than getting on TV. It's getting on people's YouTube channels, TikTok channels.
I just met the president. Let's go.
In 2022, the Democratic Party paid over $200,000 in travel expenses for a group of influencers from across the country to cover politics from the White House. And the Biden administration is reported to have made a spot for some permanently. The videos from inside tend to be very supportive of Biden and seem to be his TikTok by proxy.
So we just watched President Biden speak at the White House, and I have never been more confident that this guy needs to be reelected in 2024. He's smart, he's quick-witted, he knows what's best for America, and he fights for the people. And so myself, Chris, and the rest of Gen Z are ready for 2024 and to fight to put him back in the Oval Office.
He struggles in a way to really get the support of all young people. Just said he's much older than a lot of them, and it's harder to relate, but I believe he does a lot with influencers.
Because you know what you don't do? You don't watch cable news, you don't watch national news, you don't watch local news, you don't read the local paper. I think you should read the local paper. I don't think you should watch cable news. But this is what you do. So we have to get better at meeting you here, or we're just forfeiting any ability we have to message at all, to reach you and just give you good, solid information.
If we're really interested in our vote being an informed vote, then we have to take advantage of all of as much of the information that's out there is available to us. It's really important to whatever we see on a candidate site to try to fact check. They're presenting their sides of the story. They're presenting facts as they see it. And they don't always, have a tendency to present alternative reality sometimes with respect to the facts.
You know, the one thing like you don't see on these Instagram pages is a lot about really like what they stand for. You know, that's what matters, right? And I think for Gen Z, my advice would be to really focus in on learning where these candidates stand on the issues. And from that, you often have to look a little bit deeper than what you see on social media.